Welcome home to First Christian Church here in Wilson. When we met last time, we were beginning the Lenten season, and now we are preparing to enter into the season of Advent. For the past 9 months, we have been able to navigate some fairly turbulent waters with the pandemic, and we have done so successfully by being creative and thinking outside the box about how we can come together as church. And we have enjoyed being able to celebrate and worship through virtual services online, through Zoom meetings with our Sunday school classes, and with our discussion groups, and even with our committee meetings and board meetings. But now it's time for us to be able to come back together again in person in our beautiful sanctuary. And we are ready to welcome you back when you are ready to come back. And so on Sunday, November 29th, Reverend Gary Walling will be preaching from the sanctuary and welcome you into this house of worship that we call our church home. So please join us if you are ready and if your family is ready. We have details to share with you about how we will welcome you into the church sanctuary. And if you are not ready, that's okay, because there is time for you to continue to do what you need to do to take care of yourself, to take care of your family, to take care of your health. You will still be connected to your church home through a variety of resources that we will still have available to you. So right now we send you our love, we send you our good wishes for good health, and we look forward to seeing you again in person when you are ready. And now let me turn it over to Reverend Gary Walling, who will tell you how we've prepared for you to come back into church.
Thank you, Kathy. Indeed, we are looking forward to having these doors open this coming Sunday, November the 29th, and welcoming back all of our members and guests whose health will allow them to come and worship live as the season of Advent begins. As you might expect, we will be observing the basic protocols that have been recommended to people that are gathering together. To the best of our ability, we will maintain a distance of 6 feet from one another. In fact, we will only be using every other pew in the sanctuary. In addition, we will be requiring the use of masks while you're in the sanctuary. The hand sanitizer is going to be available in abundance to us, so we will be doing everything that we can to maintain a safe environment. When speaking, worship leaders will be removing their masks, but the worship leaders will be at a significant distance from the worshiping congregation. When you arrive on Sunday morning, you will be able to enter into the sanctuary from the narthex through these doors or through the back door that leads from that you open from the ramp leading from our access parking area. There will be a host who will be here to greet you, although of course greeting will take a very different form than in other times in the church's life. There won't be hugs, there won't be handshakes, but there will be a hearty kind of welcome here. And our aim will be to get you to your pew as quickly as possible. As you know, in the narthex and of course as well in the back, there's not a great deal of room, and we will be trying to avoid a kind of congestion in these areas. So we don't want to be rushing you, but part of the host will be getting you into your place fairly quickly. Host will also be able to provide masks if you did get away from the house without having one. Host will also keep a list of attendees. We want to keep a very careful list. We hope that those lists will never be needed or necessary, but in the event that somebody ever tests positive for the virus, we want to be able to contact anybody who has been a part of these worship experiences. And also, if you have found our assisted living listening devices to be useful, then the host will be able to give you one of those. What we will be doing over the course of the next several months is to just mark these specifically for a person. So when you arrive, there should be one with your name on it, and you'll be able to take it and out of a plastic bag to be able to use it while you're in the sanctuary. When you're done, you'll replace it in the bag, and return it to the host on your way out of the sanctuary. In the intervening week, it will be cleaned, sterilized, and it will be placed into a clean new bag with your name on it. In addition, we will have a hired person in this area that will be moving back from the two entrances, who will be sanitizing and cleaning areas with high traffic use, doorknobs and the like. Bathrooms will be available to people, although we of course would encourage people to use them as little as possible. Try and use them at home before you get here, but there will be somebody passing through on an occasion, kind of wiping down all of those surfaces. We hope to have limited use of those rooms. Perhaps the most frequently asked question that we have been receiving is whether or not we will be celebrating communion, and if so, how we will do that. We will be celebrating the Lord's Supper, though we will be doing it in a markedly different way. When we arrive at that time in the service, after the elder has given the prayer blessing the elements and I have said the words of institution, then we will have a deacon taking people out of the pews, pew by pew, and at a distance we will gather and kind of move down through the front of the chancel area. And there you will be given one of these communion sets. They can be a little tricky to use, although I think with a little bit of work we're going to be able to do it. There's actually a cellophane lid on the very, very top, and if you pull that back, it reveals the wafer, and that can be taken. After that, there is a second and a little bit thicker covering, and when that is pulled back, it will make the cup available, and so the juice is then available to be used as part of the supper. As I say, it's a little bit tricky, though I think we get a Sunday or two behind us, we're all going to be able to manage this fairly well. As we just progress down through this area, we're going to have trash cans available, and you'll be able to dispose of it, and then the waste will be removed safely after the service. Offering as well will be available up here as you move through. We'll have offering trays at the end, and you'll be able to leave a gift if you wish. I've been told in these recent weeks by some health people that money is the dirtiest thing that we actually ever handle in all of our lives. However, I like to think that when money is given to the church, that maybe somehow we're able to clean up this mammon. It's a necessary part of our ministry, and so we will be able to do that. Though, of course, you'll have other ways to continue to give online or mailing in checks or doing anything like that. At the conclusion of the service, the deacon is going to dismiss us row by row, and we will depart. Again, trying not to bottleneck up at the north exit or at the back door in those kind of tight areas. I don't want to suggest to you, though, that we're just trying to herd cattle out here. I think one of the things that we can all say is we have really longed to be with one another. And so there will be the opportunities to speak to one another at a distance. If weather permits, we can step out on the lawn and greet one another and catch up. There's a lot of stories I have to tell all of you, and I'm sure there's a lot of stories that you have to tell me as well. So we're looking forward to sharing life with one another as we come together, and doing it hopefully in a very safe manner. Let me say this much more. If your health condition makes it unwise for you to come and be a part of this service right now, then by all means stay at home where you can be safe and where your health will be uncompromised. Just know that we will continue to be live streaming our service and making it available both at the 10 o'clock hour on Sunday mornings and as a recorded version that you could see later in the day or later in the week. In fact, we'll be able to show you one of the 3 cameras that we have put up into the sanctuary. We are already using those on our Sundays. They're really proving to be a really wonderful asset to being able to record, show, live stream our live worship services. And so we're grateful to our IT team that has made all of this possible. One of the matters I've not talked to you about yet is music. It is an exceedingly important matter at that. Music, after all, provides really the heartbeat to worship. And so let us hand this over to Casey for a moment, and she'll explain some of what we will be looking at and hearing in music in the weeks to come.
No one misses congregational singing and communal singing more than me. Music is in my head all the time. Congregational singing is what I was trained to lead. Last night when Jackson got frustrated, he looked at me and said, "Mama, I like to listen to music when I'm frustrated." And I get it. The congregational song is the communal heart of worship. Unfortunately, from the first large outbreak of this virus in Washington state, corporate singing has been directly linked to be one of the most accelerated transmitters of this virus. Even now, singing in very limited numbers are only supported outside in a well-ventilated area. For this reason, and for the care of our brothers and sisters around us, we will not hold congregational singing during our worship experience. We will, however, be uplifted by the vocal music from soloists, and we thank God for their gifts, for their words of scripture, and for the ways that they will nurture our souls. During this time, until it is safe, come to worship and close your eyes during these selections and meditate on these words that you will hear. May the day come where we can fully sing together, where we will tune our hearts to sing your praise, and we will praise God aloud and as one. What a day it will be.
In closing, let me offer a few final words. I know the First Christian Church is one of the last congregations in this community to resume live worship. And we do that, unfortunately, at a time in which we're seeing cases of the virus just skyrocketing. And so there is some angst in all of this. We have chosen to follow an exceedingly cautious way in these past months, and you can blame me if you need somebody to blame. But the men and the women and the children of this congregation have come to mean so much to me in my years here. I love each and every one of you. And I think it is the case that I just insist on shepherding you to the best of my ability to keep you safe and whole, both spiritually and physically. But now we do move into this new phase in which we will be gathering once again together to worship the living God. I find it especially delightful that we will be gathering as the Advent season begins. When we open our doors on the morning of November the 29th, our tree, adorned with all of its chrismons, will be in its regular place up here on the floor of the sanctuary, and there will be garlands and poinsettias and banners draping around. Our sanctuary will look absolutely lovely. That morning we will light the first of the candles on our Advent wreath. And so as we have this time in which our waiting to worship together again ends, we will enter into that Advent time that is all about waiting, a new season of waiting. Waiting for the appearance of a star, for the appearance of shepherds and magi, for the coming of a child. And again, we will be entering into a season of waiting for holiness to once again invade our lives. And whether you are able to be present that morning, or whether you will be joining us from your living room or wherever, we say to one another, Emmanuel, God is with us.